Today, we are diving deep into two major legal updates shaking up the universe connected to Love and Marriage Huntsville. This situation involves court filings, subpoenas, federal judgments, and a growing tension between reality television personalities and content creators in the YouTube commentary space. We are going to break this down carefully, step by step, so you understand not just what happened, but what it means. Let's begin with the first development involving Maurice J. Scott Sr., known to viewers as Maurice Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. A new filing has surfaced in his ongoing legal matter against an unnamed defendant, referred to in court documents as Anonymous, along with another party connected to online commentary known as Black Titanic. According to documents filed in the Madison County Courthouse on February 20th, 2026, the defendant Anonymous submitted what is formally called a Notice of Intent to Serve a Subpoena Ducis Tecum to a non-party, specifically Oprah Winfrey Network LLC, commonly known as OWN. Now this is significant. A subpoena ducis tecum is not casual paperwork. It is a legal demand requiring a person or organization to produce documents or records relevant to a case. In this instance, Anonymous is signaling an intention to formally request documents from OWN related to Maurice Scott's employment and financial records. Under Rule 45 of the Alabama Rules of Civil Procedure, before serving such a subpoena on a non-party, the requesting party must provide notice to the other parties involved in the case. That is exactly what this filing represents. It is essentially a procedural step that says, we intend to demand records from OWN, and we are notifying everyone accordingly. So what records are being requested? The filing outlines two major categories. First, it requests the original employment contract and any addendums signed and dated for Maurice J. Scott Sr. from January 2018 to the present. That time frame covers the entire span of his participation on Love and Marriage Huntsville, which premiered in 2019 and has continued across multiple seasons on OWN. Second, it requests annual income statements, specifically W-2s and 1099 forms for the tax years 2018 through 2025. That is 8 consecutive years of income documentation. Now, this is where the stakes rise. Income records and employment contracts are not surface-level documents. These are detailed financial records that can reveal compensation structure, bonuses, production agreements, exclusivity clauses, and potentially other financial arrangements. In litigation, especially cases involving defamation, damages, or business interference, financial records can become central. If a plaintiff claims reputational harm or financial loss, the defense often seeks to evaluate actual earnings before and after the alleged harm. This subpoena appears to be moving in that direction. The filing also defines what constitutes documents in extremely broad terms. Any writing, electronic communication, emails, memoranda, data storage, recordings, photographic material, computer programs, reports, handwritten notes, and any other stored information, regardless of format. That language is standard in civil discovery. It ensures nothing relevant is excluded simply because it exists digitally rather than on paper. The notice further clarifies definitions of you, meaning OWN and any subsidiaries or controlling interests, as well as definitions of personal identifiers and references to the complaint. This structured language demonstrates that the defense is building a comprehensive discovery strategy. Now let's analyze what this move suggests. When a defendant seeks a plaintiff's employment contracts and tax documentation from a television network, it typically indicates that financial damages are being contested. Either the plaintiff has claimed monetary loss, or the defense anticipates such a claim. In either situation, verifying income history becomes crucial. For viewers of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Maurice Scott has been portrayed as an attorney, entrepreneur, and reality television figure. His income streams may include network compensation, speaking engagements, endorsements, and business ventures. If the court examines earnings over 8 years, it could reveal whether his financial trajectory has increased, remained stable, or declined. The procedural note also states that Anonymous had to file this notice at least 15 days before serving the actual subpoena. That timeline matters. It shows adherence to civil procedure requirements and suggests the defense is methodical. Now, let's zoom out. This legal development connects to the larger ecosystem surrounding Love and Marriage Huntsville. The show airs on OWN, a network founded by media icon Oprah Winfrey. OWN's programming includes unscripted relationship series that often generate strong online commentary. The YouTube sector covering this show has grown significantly, with multiple creators dissecting episodes, cast interviews, and behind-the-scenes developments. This brings us to the second major legal update, and this one takes us into federal court. YouTube creator Queen Shiba, also known as Shiba Darling, filed federal copyright lawsuits against several fellow content creators, including Anthony Lofties. The claims centered on alleged unauthorized use of her content. On February 19, 2026, in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, a final judgment was entered in the case of Queen Shiba Darling versus Anthony Lofties. The result? The case was dismissed. The order states that for the reasons set forth in the court's order, entered that same day, the plaintiff's action is dismissed. It is labeled as a final judgment, signed by a United States District Judge in Houston, Texas. In federal court, dismissal can occur for several reasons: lack of jurisdiction, failure to state a claim, procedural deficiencies, insufficient evidence, or other legal grounds. The language provided indicates that the dismissal aligns with a detailed order entered concurrently. That order would contain the court's reasoning. But the outcome is clear. Anthony Lofties emerges from this particular lawsuit without liability in this matter. Now, let's contextualize that. Copyright law protects original works of authorship fixed in a tangible medium of expression. On YouTube, that can include recorded videos, scripts, graphics, and commentary. However, copyright does not protect ideas, themes, or general commentary about public events. It protects specific expression. In disputes among YouTubers, courts often examine whether the alleged infringing content copied protected expression, or merely discussed similar topics. There is also the doctrine of fair use, which allows limited use of copyrighted material for commentary, criticism, news reporting, teaching, or research. Without reviewing the court's full order, we cannot speculate on the precise legal reasoning. However, dismissal at final judgment stage signals that the court found the plaintiff's claim insufficient under applicable copyright standards. This ruling carries implications for the broader YouTube commentary community, particularly within the Love and Marriage Huntsville sector. Content creators often rely on episode clips, screenshots, and commentary on other creators' discussions. Copyright disputes can become tools of conflict within competitive digital ecosystems. What we are witnessing is a legal escalation of YouTube sector rivalries into federal courtrooms. Now let's connect both developments. On one side, we have a reality television personality seeking legal remedies potentially tied to online commentary and reputational issues. On the other side, we have content creators suing each other over copyright claims tied to commentary about that same television universe. This is not isolated. Reality television has increasingly merged with digital commentary culture. Cast members speak directly to audiences through Instagram Lives and Patreon platforms. Viewers respond with reaction videos. Reaction creators respond to each other. Lines blur between entertainment, journalism, and personal brand defense. When financial records are subpoenaed and federal copyright cases are dismissed, it shows that this ecosystem is no longer confined to YouTube algorithms. It has entered formal legal arenas. Let's examine the potential strategic reasoning behind Anonymous seeking OWN records. If Maurice Scott has claimed damages in his lawsuit, perhaps alleging that defamatory statements caused him financial harm, then demonstrating stable or increasing income could undermine that claim. Conversely, if income decreased following specific alleged conduct, that data could support his position. Employment contracts may also reveal morality clauses or termination conditions. If a network has not terminated or penalized a cast member despite alleged controversies, that fact can become relevant in assessing reputational impact. In litigation, discovery is about leverage. Financial transparency can either strengthen or weaken a case. Now let's discuss optics. Publicly requesting 8 years of tax documentation from a television network creates perception. Even if routine in litigation, audiences interpret such filings dramatically. It signals intensity. It signals that the case is moving beyond surface allegations into concrete financial analysis. For fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville, this legal chapter adds another layer to a show already built around business disputes, marital breakdowns, and friendship fractures. Meanwhile, the federal dismissal in Texas sends a different message. Not every online conflict rises to a sustainable copyright claim. Courts require precise legal standards. Emotional disputes or community rivalries do not automatically translate into infringement. Anthony Lofty's dismissal may embolden other content creators who rely on commentary and transformative analysis. However, it also serves as a reminder that federal litigation carries cost, complexity, and risk. Let's consider the broader media implications. OWN, as a network, is accustomed to production contracts and confidentiality agreements. A subpoena compels compliance unless successfully challenged. If served, OWN's legal department will evaluate scope, privilege, and privacy considerations. Tax forms contain sensitive personal data. Courts often allow redactions of social security numbers and other identifiers. Rule 45 procedures ensure due process. Maurice Scott's legal team will have an opportunity to object if they believe the subpoena is overly broad, burdensome, or irrelevant. Discovery disputes sometimes lead to motions to quash or protective orders. That stage may still be ahead. Now, stepping back to the YouTube copyright case, dismissal does not necessarily end all disputes among creators. It ends that specific claim in that court. Appeals are possible, though costly. Alternatively, parties may shift conflicts back to platform-level reporting systems, rather than federal litigation. We are observing a maturation phase in digital commentary culture. As revenue grows, legal accountability increases. For viewers, these legal maneuvers can feel distant, but they shape the narratives you see. If financial records become public through court filings, they may influence public opinion about business success or failure. If copyright claims fail, creators may adjust how they structure their commentary. There is a convergence happening between reality television contracts, social media monetization, and civil litigation. And that convergence is reshaping how disputes unfold. The Maurice Scott subpoena notice is procedural, but powerful. It signals that the defense intends to scrutinize compensation. It extends discovery beyond individuals into corporate entities. It indicates seriousness. The Queen Shiba dismissal is conclusive, at least at this level. It establishes that federal courts will apply rigorous copyright standards even in YouTube sector disputes. Both updates underscore one reality. When online conflicts escalate into court, the narrative shifts from commentary to documentation. As this develops, we will be watching whether OWN complies without objection, whether motions to quash are filed, and whether additional rulings surface clarifying the court's reasoning in the copyright dismissal. For now, what we have are two pivotal legal milestones: a pending subpoena aimed at financial transparency and a dismissed federal lawsuit signaling judicial closure. These cases reflect the evolving intersection of reality television fame and digital commentary entrepreneurship. And as this legal saga continues, it is clear that the courtroom has become an extension of the screen. We will continue monitoring each filing, each order, and each procedural move. Because, in this landscape, paperwork tells a story just as powerful as any episode aired on television.